We must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but by all means, keep moving.
Hey everybody, my name is Yaki Smith, San Antonio native and graduate of both Sam Houston High School and the University of the Incarnate Word. I'm currently a film professor at the University of Texas at Austin and an independent filmmaker whose work has been seen on HBO, Showtime, BET, and so many other networks. Now, as you know, the city of San Antonio hosts the largest Martin Luther King Jr. March in the country, and for years has attracted hundreds of thousands of people from both the local community as well as from across the nation. I myself look forward to the celebration every year because I was either going to march with my church, play with the band, sing with the choir, attend a youth summit, and more than that, I knew I was going to have the opportunity to spend the day hanging with my friends and family. Now, the one thing that always echoes in my mind about the march is this idea that it is a day on and not a day off. A day to build community and a day to strategize how we as a city, state, and nation can keep Dr. King's dream of eradicating injustice, racism, and bigotry alive. Now, I'm standing here above Pittman Sullivan Park, which traditionally is where the march stops and the commemorative program takes place. But as you can see, it's pretty empty, and the faces that you normally see, the songs you traditionally hear, the food you normally eat, and the mission you normally be charged with, well, because of COVID-19, none of that is here. But we're a resilient city, a resilient people, and as they say, the show must go on. Under the guidance of the MLK Commission and with the support of the city of San Antonio, I had the pleasure of directing what I've been calling a cinematic retelling of the march. So those performances that you love so much, you're about to experience them. Those speeches that inspired you, you're about to hear them. And that food you love to eat, well, head over to the kitchen and whip it up so that you don't miss one bit of this beautiful celebration that we've created for you. There's one Dr. King quote that always rings in my head, and that quote is, "The time is always right to do what is right." And during these times of social unrest, the right thing to do is to continue to fight for the sanctity, humanity, and dignity of Black and brown lives, poor lives, working class lives, the lives of those in the LGBTQ+ community, the lives of indigenous peoples whose land we stand on, the lives of our frontline workers who haven't missed a beat during this global pandemic, and ultimately the lives of those unsung heroes who keep this city, state, nation, and global community alive. It was my honor to work alongside this very talented group of creators to produce this film. It was my honor to have been asked to do it, and now it's my honor to share it with you. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and get ready to dance, to sing, to remember, and to ultimately be inspired. Let's go.
But I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. And I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over. And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Greetings. I'm Renee Watson, and I serve as chair of the City of San Antonio's Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commission. I want to welcome you to our 2021 celebration. Each year, San Antonio hosts the largest Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. March in the nation. It attracts approximately 300,000 participants. With a variety of educational, inspirational, and celebratory events, we honor one of the world's most revered civil rights leaders. In order to prioritize the health and safety of our community and visitors, the City of San Antonio's MLK Commission decided to commemorate the legacy of Reverend Dr. King by virtually celebrating with this film presentation, the 53rd anniversary of the first March for Justice, organized by the late Reverend R.A. Callis Sr., a San Antonio teacher and pastor. Reverend Callis began to march in 1968 to call attention to the need for basic infrastructure on the city's east side. Since then, members, along with thousands of others who travel across the country to participate, have gathered each year in increasing numbers to reflect on their own dream for justice, peace, and equality for all in America. The San Antonio Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commission organizes the annual MLK March and leads the community's efforts with various events paying tribute to Dr. King. The MLK Commission was established on April 3, 1986, by an official act of the San Antonio City Council under the leadership of then Mayor Henry Cisneros. The first chairman of the commission was Mrs. Aronetta Pierce.
I'm Mia Morris.
Dr. George Williams.
Pastor Jeffrey A. Garner.
Gail Collins.
Mark Crump.
I am Harold Moore, and this is Mary Moore.
Francine Prosser Johnson.
Carla Walker.
The mission of the San Antonio MLK Commission is to promote human equality, the principles of nonviolence, and the understanding and acceptance of racial harmony, respect, and goodwill, all as a way of building community in San Antonio and across the United States.
Martin Luther King Commission Commemorative Program Chair.
MLK Scholarship Program Chair.
Chairman of the Outreach Committee.
MLK Fundraising Chair.
The San Antonio MLK Commission Youth Empowerment Co-Chair.
Martin Luther King Commission Public Awards Chair.
The MLK Vice Commission Chair.
We are chairs of the Reefland Committee.
We invite you to celebrate today as you would with your family. Be safe, be vigilant, be all you can be in your future as you progress throughout this day. And happy MLK Day.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven rings. Ring with the harmonies of liberty, and let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Hello and welcome to the 2021 virtual MLK March here in the city of San Antonio. I am City Councilwoman Jada Andrews Sullivan, coming from the District 2 east side of San Antonio, right here by the Freedom Bridge and right in front of MLK Park.
I'm Mayor Ron Nirenberg. We always enjoy this great tradition here in San Antonio because our city has such an important role and place in the legacy of civil rights in America. And every year it's one of the largest events and the largest marches in the entire United States. This year, unfortunately, we have to go virtual. because the ongoing pandemic has created challenges for us all. But we know that Martin Luther King knew all about challenges and didn't stop them from doing what needed to be done.
And even though we're not joined arm in arm, hand in hand, and marching down the street, we know that we are here together in spirit and in truth. The theme for this year is We Rise Up for Justice. And that means that we as a city rise up together. We rise up in leadership, we rise up in our community, we rise up for each other, and we rise up together.
We are committed here in the city to work towards progress, towards equity, toward equality and justice for all. So I invite you during the course of this year to make your voice heard, to use the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. that we see in the streets every single day to lift this city up, to lift the people of this city up, and to rise better, stronger, more equitable, and more resilient city than ever as we face the challenges ahead. I'm proud to be your mayor. I'm proud to fight with you and fight for you every single day for the equality and justice that we have sought. And then we know the march towards justice is long, but we walk it together.
And it seems to me that white America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. The other thing is that America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time.
We've gathered here today to celebrate the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Not only to celebrate his birthday, but to remember what he said. Far more important than that, to engage in the things that he did. And one of the things that Dr. King said is that our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Things do matter today. If he were here, he would give an example of what a godly leader does and how he looks. He would welcome the stranger, not build a wall. He would suffer the children to come to him and not put them in cages. He would seek justice and not simply say, there's good on both sides. If he were here, he would stand for fairness and not choose might over right. He would be an amazing example of equality and not a champion for inequality. This is the time that tries men's souls. My friends, the battle that wages today is far greater than a battle between two parties. It is the Lord's battle. It's a battle today for morality and simple common decency. It's more than a battle for obedience to the rule of law. Yes, it is a battle for God's law. We're here because he would say enough is enough, and we can't afford to be silent. One of my late mentors, the late Dr. William A. Jones of the Bethany Baptist Church of Brooklyn, New York, would always say, when trumpets are needed, flutes won't suffice. Trumpets are needed today when black and brown have been disproportionately affected through this pandemic. Trumpets are needed today when 1 in 6 Americans are on the fear of wondering where their next meal is coming from. Trumpets are needed when those who have always had the security of a home now face homelessness. Trumpets are needed. People are asking today, why is the temperature in the black community risen to such a current height of rage? They ask, and I will tell them why they're angry. They're angry because in 1619 they were chained and brought to the shores of America as chattel. They're angry because they were forced to build a democratic nation without pay. They are angry because after the Emancipation Proclamation, Jim Crow would not allow them to enjoy unrestricted freedom. Because after the 13th, 14th, and 15th amendments were passed, which gave blacks equal voting rights, the black codes and segregation laws erased most of the freedoms passed by those amendments. They are angry because lynching became the preferred means of black curtailment, because Emmett Till was murdered for allegedly whistling at a white woman. They're angry because Medgar Edwards, the head of the Mississippi NAACP, was murdered in his driveway, because Addie Mae Collins, Denise McNair, Carol Robertson, and Cynthia Wesley were blown to pieces after Sunday school in a Birmingham church. They're angry because James Earl Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Shawerna were murdered and buried in an earthen dam by the KKK, and the murderers were never punished. You want to know why we're angry? They're angry because Dr. King was murdered while fighting for social and equal justice. They're angry because Alton Sterling, Renisha McBride, Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, Philando Castile, Eric Gardner, Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and too many more were killed by cops or wannabe cops who exercise murderous authority over them. When trumpets are needed, flutes won't suffice.
We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall all be free. Yes, we shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I still believe that we shall all be free someday. And we'll walk hand in hand, I believe. We'll walk hand in hand.
God has had enough of this insolence. He's had enough of indifference. He's had enough of inequity and inequality. God, I say, has had enough of tweeted irrelevancy and human immaturity. He's had enough of hearts that lack charity and condone racial atrocity. God has had enough of autocratic extremity and man-made supremacy. God has had enough of governmental irresponsibility by an obstinate majority. We're here because we're joining in the words of Dr. King, enough is enough, because God shall break the pieces of the oppressor. He shall call the righteous to the front lines. He shall call the godly to action, the chosen to their sacred work. He shall call the ordained to their prophetic task, the anointed to their mission fields, the empowered to service, because enough is enough. Our lives begin to end when we become silent about the things that matter.
That we shall overcome someday.
I'm standing here with history. We have made it so many places here in the city of San Antonio. From many firsts in our county commissioner's court, to our county judges, to our county clerk, all the way to our state representatives. We as the city of San Antonio are happy to be a first in the elected majority female city council. When you see us, you see all of us.
I am Lucia Dami Clark. Soy Rebecca Clay Flores.
Tommy Calvert.
Barbara Gervin Hawkins.
Judge Rosie Speedling Gonzalez.
Judge Yolanda Huff.
We know that the foundation is strong, and we continue to live the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Comisionada de Condado, Precinto 1, soy la primera negra o mexicana en esta posición.
Bexar County Commissioner, Precinct 4. the first African American elected to the Bexar County Commissioner's Court.
I preside over Bexar County Court at Law number 13 and the Reflejo Court. I am the first out LGBT judge elected in Bexar County.
I preside over County Court 12 and the Mental Health Court. At the time I was elected in 2018, there was not one African American elected judge in all of Bexar County.
The Bexar County Clerk here in San Antonio, Texas, the first woman, first Latina, first woman of color ever elected to the County Clerk's office here in San Antonio, Texas.
State Representative of District 120. I'd like for y'all to know that I represent one of the first African American charter schools in the city of San Antonio.
We're no longer gonna live by what America decides that we should live like. We are a human race, together, united, for one cause, and that is to make sure that the dream that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had for us all to live in unity is fulfilled.
Hi, I'm Al Alford, the commander of Fred Brock, American Legion Post 828. We are gathered to honor Dr. King, who has made possible the kind of coalition that we see today that's involved in what we're trying to do. We have, as well as frontline workers, we have individuals from the grocery industry, we have our nurses, we also, in addition, we have other first responders that are involved in this process. In addition, we also have with us the Masons, and they are celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. We have Fred Brock American Legion Post itself and the veterans assigned to Fred Brock American Legion Post, and we've been in this community, supporting this community for 74 years. And the actions of Dr. King has made possible the coalition of a group like you see assembled here today, involved in celebrating the things that we do involved in our community.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Shirley Davis. I am a family nurse practitioner, and I am also the president of the original San Antonio Black Nurses Association. In our organization, we have LVNs, we have RNs, we have also those who work with children in pediatrics, OB, mental illness, providing nursing to the community.
Hi, my name is Sonia Quirino Canales, Diversity and Inclusion Manager at HEB. HEB has been a longtime supporter of the MLK March in San Antonio. We do it because we believe. We believe that each and every person counts. We believe in the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King. And we believe that through our partners, our customers, and the communities that we serve, that together in San Antonio, we believe that we can be the change.
There comes a time when silence is betrayal.
We're here to celebrate and commemorate the birth, the life, and the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That was a quote that King uttered some time ago. He said, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." There's a certain way we expect our enemies to treat us. We don't expect our enemies to have favorable relationships with us. We don't expect for them to be kind to us. We expect for them to hurl insulting words at us, but that's not the expectation we have of a friend. Our friends ought to support us. They ought not remain silent in the struggles that we're facing. We're looking forward to friends being supportive in this battle against all types of social, economical, racial injustices. We expect for them not to be silent, but we want them to speak up. Even in whatever vocation you're in, I expect for every Anglo pastor to speak up against injustices. I expect for the Hispanic pastor to speak against injustices. And even us as African American or black pastors, we have to speak up and speak out boldly against all of the injustices of today. We're in the midst of some trying times, and the only way we're going to overcome this, to make America truly a great America, is not to remain silent, but to speak up, speak out, be bold, be courageous, And King says, in the end, we won't remember the words of our enemies. They're not going to matter. But the silence of our friends is going to be with us for a lifetime.
Certainly, Dr. King was interested in the decency of labor for all people, a fair wage for all people, decency for mankind as reflected in labor. Dr. King fought hard for free labor, for equalization, freedom of all men.
I will always remember in 1986, I was mayor of the city, and we were listening to the national conversation about Dr. Martin Luther King Day. And there was a group in San Antonio beginning to talk about trying to organize something. It was very small, led by Reverend R.A. Callies, a real representative of the community. I mean, a human being who lived the east side of San Antonio and the African-American experience. And he came to me and he said, we want to do something larger. And it just made all the sense in the world to me. And so we created a commission, had the good fortune of getting a woman, Aranetta Pierce, to be the first chair of the commission. And if you want somebody to do something, you want somebody like Aranetta. And she has breathed life into something that has had great resonance. We're standing on the spot that's one of my favorite spots in the annual Martin Luther King March. I love this spot because it's on a hill, and as you look back, when you see the crowd assembled, you understand the crowd estimates of 100,000 people. It's hard to get a feel for what 100,000 people look like until you stand on this hill and look backward every Martin Luther King Day. But it's an amazing thing. We've come from Dr. Callies and a band of about 6 followers to 100,000 people every Martin Luther King Day. I've often asked myself, and I've been asked, why San Antonio? Why does San Antonio have the largest Martin Luther King March in America? Why not Detroit? Why not Atlanta? Why not Washington? And it's a hard question to answer because the African American population here is less than 10% of the population of the city. So why San Antonio? I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One is San Antonio is a city that's dedicated to civil rights and progressive causes. We see that time and again, and therefore has a strong relationship, has learned from San Antonio's African American community. It's a long history of great contributions and great leadership and great sacrifices, and the community appreciates that and wants to be associated with Dr. Martin Luther King Day on the east side of San Antonio.
My name is Mario Marcel Salas, former city councilman for District 2, professor, University of Texas. Some of the first marches took place when Martin Luther King was still alive. The Selma to Montgomery March, which King was on, Bloody Sunday, San Antonio supported him while he was still alive. Years later, there was another march by the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee from Pittman Sullivan Park to Mount Zion First Baptist Church. And then around 1978 or so, a lot of community organizations joined the march, which was very small at the time, but once the community got involved, it became one of the largest marches in the country.
We started this march to continue the legacy of Dr. King, because Dr. King was a person who fought for voting rights and civil rights and for jobs and to keep those opportunities going. So this march was started to continue that legacy.
Well, we felt real good about how it grew because we spent a lot of time organizing the community to join the march because the action to organize it just wasn't taking place. So after we got together with a bunch of different organizations and leaders, then we filled the streets up with as many people as possible. I think it's very important that people be involved in the march because we're talking about social justice. And the idea that the march is a parade is simply not true. Martin Luther King didn't march for parades. He marched for social justice, and that's what we are doing today.
I think if Dr. King was alive today, he would be talking about police reform. He would be talking about making sure that Black lives matter and that we continue to go forth to bring a better quality of life to the citizens of this nation.
And so San Antonio has kept that idea alive, that social justice must be addressed, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's jobs, whether it's helping poor people. Those are the social issues that must remain in the forefront.
It's an exhilarating feeling. It's a good feeling when you can look back and you see thousands and thousands of people who have become part of this largest march in the world and continue to bring the issues. As long as you continue to bring the issues, the march will grow and it will get better.
It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will.
Look, black man, you a king in my eyes. All praises to you. Yeah, you're more than a man. You're something greater. The beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega. And to my Nubian queens, the mother of creation. Never limit yourself to that small imagination. It ain't nothing like a black woman so amazing. Yeah, the blacker the berry, you the key to greatness. And don't forget the power lies within your melanin. And don't believe them lies that they telling you. Yeah, this is for Trayvon, Sandra, and Eric them. Yeah, look, welcome to America. I can never lie in the skin that I'm better in. Make sure it's a crown on my head when they bury me. I can hear the sounds of the horns of my chariot. My melanin, I cherish it. My blackness is heaven sent. Yeah, look, black man, yeah, black man, king in my eyes, way more than a man. You so much more than a man. I understand that pain you hide beneath the surface. I hide that same pain beneath the surface. In this world, we just trying to find our purpose. Just know that if you black, then you perfect.
My name is Noble Cooper Jr. My son name is Norman Cooper. He was killed 5 years ago, and we have been seeking justice for him. What happened is that he came to our home. He was staying there with us. We had 2 rookie police officers that came there. They actually tased him 9 times.
My name is Melissa Wicker, the daughter of Daryl Zamalt Sr., who was murdered September 15th of 2020. My father was a loving man, married to my mother of 35 years after she passed on Thanksgiving Day 2016. He was incredible to the community. He loved everyone, and everyone loved him.
I'm talking about that old school. Real wood, real big console. Off in the living room, over at your granny crib. With the little TV on it where your auntie live. Yeah, that one. With your uncle riding round in the Cadillac. Looking fresh, looking clean in the Cadillac. All the kids running around like they done lost their mind. And now your uncle yelling at them with a cup of yak. Yeah. Potato salad and mac. Car show in the front, barbecue in the back. See the dominoes and spades as a matter of fact. And then your people talking about he gon' be right back. And you like, yo, where you fixin' to go? Hold on, homeboy, cause I'm ready to stroll. Matter of fact, Big Mama needs some ice from the stove. And one more thing I gotta mention.
My family and I are seeking justice for my father, who was murdered in the front of his yard.
So we dropping the top. Flipping upon our mission, coming up to the stop. Looking up in the mirror and see the lights of a cop. We gotta stop whether we like it or not. No warrants, insurance good, 5 minutes we out. The cop asked Lil Bro for his license. When he reached for his wallet, all I heard was a shot.
It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change.
The larger we are in numbers, the more we can fight.
Oh, yes it will.
Blinded by the gleam of my melanin.
or the light of gems embedded in my diadem. There is an emancipated glory beaming bright as orbs jettisoned from beneath my skin. I am still forged from beauty even when I'm struggling. They can never purge our virtue by any means of degradation. I believe my change gon' come, no matter the situation. I believe my change gon' come, no matter the situation.
My name is Deborah Bush, and I'm the aunt of Marquise Jones, who was killed in February 28, 2014. As a result of his murder, I've become an activist here in San Antonio. We are the only families that have stood up against the city to fight the atrocities that the police department has inflicted on our families. We're tired, we're done, and we're not taking anymore.
My name is Jolene Josie Garcia, leader of Reliable Revolutionaries, a community-led civil rights organization that fights against police brutality and racial and systemic injustices within our community. We take protest to policy by engaging millennials and young people to vote and use their voice. We change the policies that the lawmakers we put into power aren't upholding. No justice, no peace. We will continue to fight until there's equality for all of us.
My name is Ernest Martinez, chairman of the Cesar E. Chavez Legacy and Educational Foundation. And on behalf of the organization, we stand with Dr. King. We honor Dr. King. On August 28, 1963, he delivered the speeches of all speeches. And within that I Have a Dream speech, he said, now is the time to lift our nation out of the quicksand of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Dr. King, like Cesar Chavez, embodied that spirit of unity. He was the major spark that led that effort to the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
My name is Ananda Thomas. I'm the Deputy Director for Fix SAPD. As the great Dr. King said, since we know the system will not change the rules, we will have to change the system. But we must do this together. I implore everyone to get involved, take action, take part in this movement. Let's change the system together.
Viva Dr. King! Viva! Viva Dr. King!
Viva! I'm Francine Prosser Johnson, the Martin Luther King Jr. Public Awards Chair. I would like to recognize the recipients of the San Antonio Martin Luther King Commission Public Awards. The Martin Luther King Jr. Distinguished Achievement Award. Reverend Dr. Kenneth R. Kemp, pastor of the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church in San Antonio, Texas. Dr. Kemp excelled in academics at the University of Arkansas in Pine Bluff, where he graduated from the University of Arkansas in medical science, and while in medical school was appointed as a captain in the United States Army, where he was selected to be the chief of medical residence. After 21 years of active and 25 years of total service in the military, Dr. Kemp retired as a colonel and currently serves in the civilian position, certified in the areas of internal medicine, pulmonary medicine, and critical care medicine. In 1990, Dr. Kemp was ordained as a deacon at the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, and in 1991, he accepted the call to the gospel ministry.
I want to thank the MLK Commission for this Distinguished Achievement Award. Certainly I want to thank the good people of the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, of the San Antonio community, and certainly the people of my family. Listen, I do what I do, not for recognition or for awards. I just want to do the Lord's will. That's what Dr. King said in a speech that he gave just before he went home to be with the Lord. He wanted everyone to know that it was not for recognition, it was not for the great Nobel Award that he got, not for all of the great education and all the things that he did, but it was simply to do the Lord's will. And that's where I am right now. I thank you so much for this great and distinguished honor. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer.
Reverend Dr. R.A. Callis Sr. Courage Award. As we celebrate the life and the dreams of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., today we want to recognize local dream makers. As Reverend Dr. R.A. Callis was a dreamer who had the courage to dream big, such as a woman, San Antonio native Beverly Watts Davis, known by many as a mover and a shaker. Beverly Watts Davis has over 30 years of experience in leading and managing public agencies, nonprofit organizations, and private companies. She serves on the Police and Community Relations Council as a mayoral appointee and several other appointments by the mayor for the city of San Antonio. At the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, she served as director of the Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, where she co-chaired the development of the National HIV/AIDS Prevention Strategy. Never, ever afraid to step into uncharted waters, Watts Davis exemplifies what Reverend Dr. R.A. Callis stood for, the courage to fight for the people and for the community.
I'm so very honored and humbled to receive this award named after Reverend Callis, a man who was formidable, tenacious, dedicated, inspiring, and a visionary leader. We are called to a perfect mission of making a difference in our country, in our community, and in the world. So I thank you so very much for this award, which is truly about purpose and passion and doing something greater than yourself. Thank you.
Baha'i Unity of Humanity Award. Joe Webb helped to shape San Antonio as a worldwide destination during his 14 years on the City Council, from 1977 to 1991. Councilman Webb served as a bridge builder for many years between all races in San Antonio. He had no problem getting into good trouble. He connected neighbors, not just neighborhoods, as District 2 councilman on the east side. He taught us what Baha'i believes: religious prejudice must be eliminated. Mr. Joe Webb was and still is an inspiration to those who have chosen a life of public service. He is a change maker.
I want to thank the Martin Luther King Commission for giving me this award. I know that it's very special for them because it certainly is special for me. And I want to just thank all of the city of San Antonio, all of those who have been involved with this Martin Luther King March and Commission that we've established many years ago. And I'm so delighted and proud to receive this award. Thank you very much.
When you see something that is not right, not just, not fair, you have a moral obligation to say something, to do something.
We're tired of being beaten by policemen. We're tired of seeing our people locked up in jail over and over again. And then you holler, be patient. How long can we be patient? We want our freedom and we want it now.
I kept saying to myself, how many more? How many more young black men will be murdered? That the madness must stop. It is my hope that we are on our way to greater change, to respect the dignity and the worth of every human being. And it doesn't matter the color or the background. of whether they're male or female, gay or straight. We would come to that point and say, we're one people, we're one family, we all live in the same house, not just American house, but the world house.
My name is Charles Hood, Fire Chief of the San Antonio Fire Department. I am proud to be a part of the MLK celebration. Dr. King talked about faith. He talked about hope. And more importantly, he talked about courage. Those are the things that are critical to us surviving in this city every single day. Being a fire chief and being one of several fire chiefs that are African American in major cities across this country gives me great pride. Our department is diverse. We mirror the citizens that we serve. It is important for us to remember this March. COVID has caused us to separate. COVID has caused us to distance. But we understand this is temporary, so we must be resilient. We must have hope, because without hope, nothing is done. We must have faith. You have to take a step and not worry about the staircase being there. These are quotes from Dr. King. We celebrate his legacy. We celebrate his life. The San Antonio Fire Department is here to protect this historically significant city. Thank you, Dr. King.
Hi, I'm Bill McManus. I'm the police chief here in San Antonio, and I'd like to share with you a little bit of personal thought about MLK that I took from the letter from the Birmingham jail. Actually, we studied that when I was in school, and the impact of that letter gives you a very, very clear understanding of where Martin Luther King Jr. was coming from. His message today is probably more important than ever. And if you would have told me that the march this year was going to be canceled, I never would have believed you. Martin Luther King's message against segregation and racism must be heard, and it must continue. And it's important in law enforcement today more than ever. And as police chief here in San Antonio, that message is most important to everything we do and everyone we deal with. Equality, social justice, it's all encompassed in what we do every day on the street.
I'm Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar. Look, the reason that it's so important that we celebrate Dr. King's legacy is because while his presence was so much larger than life, always clean, always polished, always professional, and the epitome of a gentleman with that loud, booming voice of his, with that distinctive vibrato. You always knew exactly what it was that he was demanding. He wasn't asking, he was demanding, but nonetheless, he was doing it in such a way that left us all in awe. And so while during his lifetime, he made so many undeniable strides in making his dream come to fruition, clearly we still have some work to do in this country. And his dream transcends time. It transcends life and death even. And so while he's no longer physically here to carry on that legacy, we are here, and it's our job. It's incumbent upon us to continue that movement forward.
My name is Officer Williams with the San Antonio Police Department. I'm also the president of the San Antonio Black Police Officers Coalition. The San Antonio Black Police Officers Coalition ensures that we bridge the gap between the community and the police officers by ensuring that the community sees officers of the same ethnicity and neighborhood background. We attempt to insert ourselves in the community and have these conversations with the community so that not only can they understand where they are coming from, where we are coming from too. The Martin Luther King March means more to me than just a dream. It is my reality. I get to live every day. And I would like to thank Dr. Martin Luther King for stating that dream, because it gives me the motivation I need to continue to be the best person that I can be.
Hi, I'm David McCary, Assistant City Manager for the City of San Antonio. As we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I thought it'd be important to remind each and every one of us at this day and time about two individuals, Echo Cole and Robert Walker. You see, these were two sanitation workers was trying to get out of the cold, inclement weather conditions. On February the 1st, 1968, during a rainstorm, they had to seek shelter in the back of the garbage truck in the hopper area. But we wanted y'all to know and be reminded that these two heroes actually gave their life on behalf of other sanitation workers. As a result, over 1,300 sanitation workers went on strike in Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at the time was called out in support of the sanitation workers there. And April the 4th, unfortunately, we lost our Dr. Martin Luther King because he was assassinated there in Memphis, Tennessee. So we just wanted to send a reminder as we celebrate today the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. God bless.
The San Antonio MLK March has been a tremendous model for the United States. This march symbolizes the unity of our community and is a symbol of a city and a group of united people. As county judge, I'm mindful of Dr. King's statement, an individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. San Antonians have stood up during this very, very difficult year as we face the tremendous damage done to us by COVID. Thank all of you for looking out for each other and wish all of you a much better year next year.
Dr. King's legacy is the very reason why I am blessed to identify myself as Catherine Brown, your first female African-American constable here in Bexar County. I will forever be grateful for Dr. King's sacrifice and service to our nation. To each and every one of you out there, have an awesome and safe Dr. King Day.
From a content point of view, the issues are inextricably tied together. In the final analysis, there can be no peace without justice, and there can be no justice without peace.
In these divisive and brutally racist times, we cannot afford to be silent, especially as pastors, as priests, as bishops, rabbis, and ministers, and the like. As diverse as we are in our doctrine, there must be a moral compass. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. leaves us a treasure trove of initiatives and encouragements and examples that cross social, economical, racial, religious boundaries. No better time such as this to echo Dr. King's words from a speech in the year of 1967, April the 15th, as he mobilized the end of the Vietnam War. He uses a bully pulpit to address the sin of neutrality. The hottest place in hell, he says, are reserved for those who, in periods of moral crisis, maintain neutrality. Dr. King, a Black Baptist preacher who refused to be intimidated by the faces of any who opposed preaching against amoral leadership and followers of these hateful and inhumane movements. We all as human beings should follow the lead of our Christ. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Martin King was assassinated because he said something. John Lewis said to us after the Bloody Sunday, he says, say something. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and the innocent blood of many brown and black and other minorities say to us all, we cannot remain neutral. Not just black pulpits, but white, brown, and every pulpit. Not just black elected officials, but all elected officials.
Hold me accountable for it, because I'm the mayor of this goddamn city, and we're gonna make change together, okay?
We have to strategize and then mobilize so we can characterize the attitude of Dr. Martin Luther King.
When we come to Washington, in this campaign, we're coming to get our check.
There is a moral rot, and it is the avatar of our present administration. We must get together as brothers and sisters and live as one in this society.
We are swiftly moving toward self-annihilation. Your generation must speak out with righteous indignation against the forces which are seeking to destroy us.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Kemp. I am the Minister of Children, Youth, and Young Adults at the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church. I'm so excited to just talk a little bit about what it means to me to be a part of Martin Luther King's dream and the march that we have here in San Antonio. One of the greatest things about the Civil Rights Movement is that it wasn't restricted just to a few people. The Civil Rights Movement was impacted by so many, and I'm especially excited about the women who played such a huge role in being a part of the civil rights movement. People like Fannie Lou Hamer and Mahalia Jackson and so many others. One of the women that really inspires me, her name is Prathia Hall. Prathia Hall is a preacher. She was a Baptist minister. She was a member of SNCC and the SCLC. Back in September 1962, she was at a service commemorating a church that was recently bombed. MLK was actually in the audience. She began to pray about her vision for what our community could look like. She prayed and she would repeatedly say, I have a dream. I have a dream, God. I have a dream. They say that was the night that Dr. King was inspired by her words to start preaching about having a dream. Listen, I don't know about you, but I desire so much for our community, our world, our nation, to be a part of Dr. King's dream, for that dream to come into fruition. And I see it happening. I do, especially as we look forward to the inauguration of the first African-American woman who happens to be Jamaican and Indian, who happens to be an HBCU grad, a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Links Incorporated, who has touched our community, our world in so many ways. She's gonna be standing next to our next president as the first female vice president. That's inspiring. That tells me that we're moving closer and closer to what God and what Dr. King preached about. What God calls us to be, a community that comes together, that loves one another. Look, I don't know what the future holds. We have a whole lot of things that are up against us. Coronavirus, racial injustice, economic injustice, gender bias, bias against people's sexualities and orientations. But I just believe if we really hold on to Dr. King's dream, if we really take that on and make that a part of our belief system, that eventually we will overcome. We'll become more like the community that so many fought for, bled, and even died for. We'll be more like what Dr. King talked about when he said, I have a dream. I believe it.
My name is Aaliyah Lavender Jewel. Hi, my name is Elena Jewel. I am 9 years old. I went to Harmon Elementary School.
My name is Temperance. I'm 10. I go to Ideas School.
I'm Sasha Harris. I'm 10 years old. I go to Idea Carver.
My name is Eduardo Garcia. I'm in 6th grade, and I go to Idea School, and I'm 12.
My name is Angelo Brown. I go to SA Prep, and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, my name is Dwayne Jewell. I'm in 7th grade, and I go to SA Prep.
Martin Luther King is important to me because he fought for our civil rights.
Martin Luther King Jr. is important to me because he wanted to bring peace everywhere and stop hatred.
MLK is important to me because he had a dream of all people to love each other and be kind.
He's important to me because he fought for our education and a nice neighborhood.
Martin Luther King Jr. was a pastor and a civil rights hero who fought for justice and equal rights for all people.
My message for Martin Luther King is he made me go to the same school as any other race. He helped us from not being mean to each other and not making fun of people just because the way they look.
I'm gonna make sure his dream lives through me by being kind and helpful with people.
I'm gonna make sure his dream lives on through me by being kind and being helpful to others.
I want to make sure his dream lives on through me by being a kind person and treating people how they want to be treated.
Hello, my name is Shawnice Hawley. I am the Youth Summit Chair for the City of San Antonio's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commission, and I am your Mrs. Texas United States 2020. We're here today to celebrate each and every one of these young women. We're here to celebrate beauty, the beauty of diversity, the beauty of strength, and the beauty of every young woman around the world. As a woman of color, a Black woman, I find it very difficult sometimes to understand exactly what that ideal of beauty is. And sometimes we have the unnecessary strain to put our beauty into a box that looks like something that may not absolutely represent each and every one of us. But what I have come to find is that beauty is recognizing each and every young woman's unique aspects and embracing that beauty, cultivating it, and allowing it to be exactly what it is meant to be, their unique and natural beauty. Look around. Each one of these young girls has something that was instilled into them. I am so grateful to be able to work with each and every one of them. And I look around and I wonder how many girls around the world are wondering what their unique beauty is. I want you to remember that your beauty is unique, and unique is beautiful.
Hello, my name is Destiny Morin. I'm 11 years old and I am in the 6th grade. I attend Bernal Middle School and I'm in the first place winner to the City of San Antonio Arts and Culture Department poster contest for the Martin Luther King competition. I drew this because it shows that someone is stepping up to be a hero. I drew this because I wanted to let everyone know that everybody's equal.
Hi, this is DJ Lil X. I'm one of the youngest DJs in San Antonio. Last year, I participated in the MLK Youth Summit. Participating in the showcase meant a lot to me because I know what Dr. King did for everyone. And without his dream, I wouldn't be able to live my dream. And now I want you to get ready to see my music video, Exit Out.
The little man with the big plan, DJ Lil X.
Everyone just gather around. Let me demonstrate how to move to the sound. 2 steps to the left, then to the right. Break it on down like you love it life. Back to the subject in the matter at hand. But I track that stack from my dad, my man. Shout out to my pops, motivated, no doubt. And if it's negative or whatever it is, we exit out. Out. And if it's negative or whatever it is, we exit out. Out. And if it's negative or whatever it is, we exit out. 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 We exit out. 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 And if it's negative or whatever it is, we exit out. Party people in the place to be. Let me show you how to rock on the MIC. Millennial status not from the 80s, but I can quarterback the track like Brady. So full of love, so I'm not shady. Maybe that's what attracts the ladies.
My name is Myron Anderson, and I am the Vice President for Inclusive Excellence at the University of Texas at San Antonio. It is my pleasure to be a part of San Antonio's 2021 MLK Jr. Virtual March to honor and recognize one of the most influential leaders of the 20th century, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King worked brilliantly with others to help galvanize the nation to strive for equal rights and raise public consciousness of the civil rights movement. Once more, he was passionate about the power of education. He once said, The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. This resonates with me as I have seen the intersection of these ideals and how they have served as inflection points to transform lives. Dr. King's message is more significant now than ever, and I feel so fortunate to witness the impact of his work among UTSA's faculty, staff, students, and alumni on a daily basis. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jevon Morton. I am a senior at the University of Texas, San Antonio, where I study politics and law, two subjects discussed a lot these past 2 months.
My name is Alyssa Owens, and I go to Texas A&M in College Station. My major is business.
My name is Devin Moore, and last year I received the MLK scholarship to help me in my first year of college. I'm currently attending Smith College and double majoring in government and film.
My name is Chloe Craig, and I'm a sophomore at the University of Arizona studying public health and biochemistry. I'm extremely interested in global health and exploring how health inequities can affect underserved communities in the healthcare setting.
My name is Mackenzie Hervey. I am a first-year communications major, and I was awarded the MLK scholarship for 2020.
The Martin Luther King Jr. scholarship has significantly reduced my burden for paying for college and has allowed me to dedicate more time and focus on my academic performance and take time off of work and take advantages of the many valuable opportunities and mentorship programs that are out there.
The MLK scholarship has really helped me pay for my meal plan in college.
As a first-generation college student, I need all the help I can get, and this scholarship made it possible for me to attend the college of my choice.
I've been able to attend a large out-of-state university that has challenged me, allowed me to participate in research, and given me access to a diverse population. Specifically, I'm involved in an organization that plans free monthly medical clinics in Mexico due to my school's close proximity to the border.
This scholarship means so much to me, especially this year as I start my new journey of college throughout a pandemic. And this really helped me to stay focused and persistent on my studies rather than having to figure out how I was going to pay for schools.
Thanks and Gig'em.
So thank you so much for your support.
I'm very grateful for this opportunity that was provided for me, and I will continue to try to make this world a better place.
I really, really appreciate the scholarship, and I'm so grateful to the committee.
My hope is that for years to come, this commission will be able to continue helping students along their educational pathways as it has helped me.
Thank you.
Good morning. We're the presidents of the Divine Nine organizations here in San Antonio, Texas. We were all founded on brotherhood, sisterhood, education, and community service for all. We are here celebrating the Martin Luther King anniversary once again, and we certainly hope that everyone will continue to remember him, his service, and what he stood for in the United States and in the world. All of our organizations are still pertinent. Most of us were founded anywhere from 1906 all the way up to 1996. We are still very important to our children, our children's children, and making sure there's a foundation for the African American community to grow and to be together. You know, you sometimes hear that there is some rivalry between us, and sure, there's some fun rivalry, but we all stand together, and that is what's important for us to convey to the African American community. We are all together for the same reason.
Hi, my name is Alicia Perry, and I am board trustee for the SAISD Independent School District, representing District 2. I am here with my fabulous campus leaders, and we're here to celebrate the MLK March. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have it in person this year. However, we can still share all of the celebrations that Dr. King did for our community. The community can help us in our endeavors to ensure that our children are successful by engaging with any of our campus leaders, coming in and volunteering time, Of course, we know that it's virtual learning right now, so all the support that our children can get right now is very imperative to the success of their futures. We want to wish you a happy MLK Day. Remember, it's a day on, not a day off.
Well, Martin Luther King Jr. is certainly an iconic figure in our American history, without a doubt. You know, he spent his life trying to make our country fulfill its promises of justice and equality. And at this point, I think in some ways he'd be very saddened by the events of this last summer with the continued violence against black bodies. Some of the things we've seen, you know, a Confederate flag in the Capitol back on the 6th of January, a pandemic that has devastated populations of color. But at the same time, this is a man who had unbelievable persistence. He had hope. And wouldn't he have to have hope to live in our country and continue to fight for rights that many of us just take for granted? He had great hope, and that's what spurred him on. He would be smiling now to see a Reverend Warnock be elected the first black senator from Georgia. He'd be smiling to see that state turn blue. This is a man who would have witnessed populations of color being largely responsible for electing Joe Biden, a decent man, to go to the White House. So of course, here in San Antonio, where we have the biggest celebration in the country, multicultural, multi-ethnic march, we're very proud of that, and we honor Martin Luther King Jr.
I'm Jeffrey Arndt, the president and CEO of VIA Metropolitan Transit, and behind me you see a 1966 bus that reminds us in many ways that the civil rights movement started on a bus, not in 1966, but rather on December 1st, 1955, when Rosa Parks decided if she paid the fare, she should be able to sit anywhere. And thank goodness for that great act of bravery. Transit has always played a part throughout history in this manner, and VIA plays a part in continuing the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King. We exist for one purpose, and that is to get people to connections to make their lives better. Whether that's work, or doctor, or training, or school, we are all about improving the quality of life. In this year of the pandemic, VIA has taken extraordinary steps to ensure the safety and well-being of our customers and our heroes, the VIA heroes, the operators and the mechanics that make sure that people have access to their jobs, to their medical treatment, to their training, to their schooling during these difficult times, as well as people who simply need access to a pharmacy or a supermarket. We are proud to continue in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King, equality and access to opportunity for everyone. And so I say, Viva Martin Luther King Day, Viva VIA.
I wish to leave you with two things. One is a reminder and the other is a task. With all the powerful emotions evoked at commemorative events such as this, that are designed to honor and recall the profound greatness of the Reverend Dr. King and his legacy of fighting for racial equality, there's often an overlooked reality. In his last months, the Reverend Dr. King began to focus heavily on the plight of the poor and the notion of economic justice. The very reason that he stood upon that Memphis balcony where he would be assassinated that god-awful day in April 1968 was to lead a demonstration in support of those striking in favor of economic justice. Your reminder is this: let us remember to not ignore disparity. Let us remember to not feel apathy. Let us remember to not allow our focus on matters of equality among races force us to turn a blind eye to the social economic injustices beset to those same individuals we fight for equality and equity. With the same passion, let us be reminded that economic justice is true social justice. Now is your time. Now is your time to lead, to teach, to organize, to fight, to endure. and to carry on the dream and the legacy of the Reverend Dr. King.
My name is Cecile Ray. I am 101 years old. The dream lives on, yesterday, today, and tomorrow.